Hey everybody, Dr. Nick here on Feel Good Friday. Today it's all about the hamstrings and why understanding the anatomy is going to help you fully train them. Let's take a look. So the hamstrings attach, like we all know, they cross the knee and attach to the lower leg, and so when they contract, they cause this motion, right, to bend our knee up. The hamstrings also connect up onto the pelvis though. So they cross the knee joint, which when they contract again, they bend the knee, but they also cross the hip joint. So they come up here and attach on the hip, on the pelvis here. So when they contract fully, they're also going to pull the hip back into extension. So in order to fully contract the hamstrings, you need knee flexion, so you need to bend your knee, but you also need hip extension. So you need to bring your leg back behind your body. So I've talked about that in previous videos, and I'll link that down below, but that hip extension component is very, very important to fully engage those hamstrings. Let me show you what I mean. So I can bend my knee like this, okay? And my hamstrings are definitely activating because I'm bending my knee. But you can see that my hip is not in extension. My hip is coming into flexion, so I'm bending my hip as I'm bending my knee. So this portion of my hamstrings is being stretched while the bottom portion is being contracted. So I'm stretching the top of the hamstring, or I'm putting it on slack, while I'm contracting the bottom. So what do? You engage that glute and you extend your hip, okay? Because your glute is a powerful hip extensor, so that's going to help us out. It's going to help the hamstrings contract to bring your leg back. So we're going to bring our leg back, okay? So now I'm contracting my glute, and now from this position, I'm going to bend my knee up and back down. And what a difference you're going to feel. So again, squeeze this glute, get your hip back into extension without arching your lower back. Squeeze the glute, hip into extension, and then you're going to bend your knee back. If you're trying to stretch your hamstring, you want to think just the opposite. So you want your hip into flexion, and you want your knee into extension. Okay, so that's going to fully stretch that hamstring. Keep in mind what your pelvis is doing though. So when we want to engage the hamstring, again, we're getting that glute activation, kind of putting us in a little bit of a posterior pelvic tilt, and then contracting the leg. When you go to stretch your hamstring, you want to make sure that you don't fall into that posterior tilt, because now you're going to be putting this portion of the hamstring on slack when you kind of slouch your back into that posterior tilt as you go to stretch your hamstring. So when you're stretching your hamstring, make sure you keep your back even a little bit arched, okay, out of that posterior tilt when you're stretching it. This way you get a stretch on the top portion and also the bottom portion. So be sure to remember to keep your hip in extension if you want to fully engage those hamstrings. And don't forget to check out the video I'm going to link down below to see this concept with a different exercise. I hope this helps. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.